Hello, everyone. Everybody made it on the stage. It's so weird that I can't see the public. Like it's always awful. So it's a little bit like monologuing. But I'm gonna closely follow the chat today and welcome everyone to our first session of day 2. It's going to be a conversation. Actually, it's our Community Council Ask Me Anything session. So I tell you the rules. We're going to start with a short introduction round. We also ask Ekke to turn on his camera when he is decent and also the microphone. And we're going to go with a short introduction round that everybody can just say in like 1-2 sentences since when you are a council member, which I guess is going to be very similar for everyone. And what you do for Mautic and in general, like, who you are, just really a couple of sentences. Okay, for you guys who are watching, please drop your questions in the chat. There are no topics of limit. Please don't go into questions like, why is my bounce management not working? But you can ask anything which you would ask your parliamentary representative, to put it this way. So these are the people who are representing you in the Community Council. So if you're living in a democracy, this is something you know how it works. If you're not, then it's a great opportunity to experience democracy for an open source project. So Ekke will be right back. In the meanwhile, I will give now the microphone to Ruth. If you could please start, and then we're gonna continue with Favour, Dominque, Jan, and then Ekke, if that's okay with you. So just a short introduction.
Yeah, hi, my name's Ruth. My pronouns are she, her. I'm project lead for Mautic. I've been involved in open source for about 18 years and been involved with Mautic since the very early days, probably since 2015, something like that, because I knew the founder through my work with Joomla. So.
Thank you, Ruth. Favour?
Hi, everyone. I'm Favour. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I am I'm an assistant education lead for Mautic and also part of the council. And I've been involved with Mautic for over 3 years now. I started as a Google Season of Docs participant for the user, I'm trying to remember the name. How can I forget that? So yeah, part of the education lead, for the user documentation, and also I am also involved with the community, trying to help with onboarding the members that are trying to contribute to Mautic. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey so far. I think Dominque can go next.
Yeah, thank you, Favour. I'm Dominque from Dropsolid here in Europe. I've been part of Mautic community, I think, since 2018. Been in Drupal community for almost 17 years. Yeah, I hope to build bridges between the Mautic project and other communities like Drupal. The DA, for example, joined as a sponsor. I help out Ruth with the financial management and the sales management of the new partnership, and of course, Dropsolid also does the free trials.
Thank you, Dominque. Jan?
Yeah, hello. I'm Jan Linhart. Everybody calls me John. I am working on Mautic for 10 years now as a software engineer, and I work for Acquia as a principal software engineer there, and I'm kind of a bridge between Acquia and the community, together with Andy Town, who is sadly missing due to time zone issues. And I'm located in Czech Republic. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I think that Ekke has some issues joining. So honestly, I can't watch the Slack while I'm here because I have a very small screen. So if you guys know when he is coming. But in the meanwhile, what you are missing about Ekke, just a couple of sentences. So he had the community leadership in the head of the community team in the leadership team, and you're not listening to his amazing podcast, Multicast, then you are really missing out in 2 languages. So let's start with some questions. What was sent to us? It was prepared, and other we got through other means. And one of the starting questions would be for me is that what is this council actually doing? So could you explain that? How was the relationship with the leadership team? The different team members. Are there overlaps? What are you watching over? Basically, what do you do? Oh, yeah, I should ask some. I don't know how we're gonna do this. You wanna take this one, Ruth?
Yeah, sure, I can take this one. Looks like Ekke might be just trying to join back in, so hopefully he'll be here again in a second. So how does the council work? So we're elected now by the community. December last year, we had nominations and then elections, and the top 3 people got a 3-year term, the next 2 got a 2-year term, and the next 2 got a 2-year term, and then they will be renewed. And how that works is, in terms of with the leadership team, is the council is kind of more responsible for the overarching issues that affect the project. So the financial management, the legal aspects, anything to do with contracts and things like that is the council, but also decisions that affect the whole project. So big decisions that are not something that like one person would make, they come to the council. And also the longer term strategy for where Mautic is going in the future and how we're going to get there, setting budgets, that kind of thing. And how we work with the leadership team, we actually have lots of people in the council with different skills. So if someone hooray, Ekke's back. So people with different skills will often form like small committees. So we have one that's to do with sales and fundraising, one that's to do with marketing and communications. And often it's those smaller committees who then work closely with the most relevant team in the community. So the marketing and communication strategic group work closely with the marketing team in the community, kind of say, right, this is where we want Mautic to be going. And here's an idea of how we might get there. Let's have a chat with the marketing team and see how we can actually make that happen. Hopefully that covers everything. But if there's any questions or if anyone else wants to jump in and add any finer points, go for it.
Yeah.
Just updating you, Ekke. The question was how the different team, like leadership and the council, like relate to each other.
Kind of got that during rebooting and all that. Okay, thank you. I would actually add something to what Ruth just described and what things are really meant to be. In reality, within the council, we time and again have this situation where we have some urgent need, and then it ends up in like okay, let's take action ourselves, not just organize action. And to be honest, I think that's the reality with Mautic today, that sometimes you try hard to find someone to do a job or to whatever, pay some money, etc. And in the end, some of the council members are actually then saying, okay, you know what, let's just do it ourselves, form a little subgroup, etc., and take care of this or that. So that's not ideal, and that's adding on to the burden of the council members, which are typically active in other places in the project as well. Anyway, but that's just a reality, and I'm not complaining, but just to explain. And maybe one thing to keep in mind for everybody who might rotate in or might get elected into the next council, it is not a must. It's good and helpful that we have people who are able and willing to do that, but the true nature and the true task of the council is much more what Ruth just described.
Okay. And I've seen that there have been some discussions in the council, or I'm using the wrong word. So you've been actually receiving proposals, last year, and I've seen a couple of proposals from Dominque. Could you tell us more about those, so we know what you guys have been working on?
Yeah, so one of the proposals was to renew the website. So you wanted me to drill down on that a little bit?
It just in a couple of words, like, is it technological? It's a technology change you did propose, or like a complete work?
The main driver was basically what we learned from the free trials. So once we launched the free trials, I think in the first month we got around 400 free trials, and it stayed a bit this way. And what we noticed is that we, as a community, were attracting a lot of people just trying it out as a one-man business, which is, on one side, it's great because it means that Mautic is reaching a lot of people and is helping a lot of individuals with their business on like even smaller business. However, to of course also generate a revenue from the free trials, which could support the community to innovate on the product. We also need to attract SMBs and SMEs and your occasional larger enterprise, which uses open source marketing automation because they want a sovereign solution. And then we noticed, like, look, we have a community site, but we are not featuring our product. So then the idea came about, like, okay, let's redesign the website. Let's see how we can balance the community part of the site and the product part, which is described in the proposal, and also, how can we also bring Mautic to certain verticals where we know Mautic is strong, like in government, like in non-profit, in healthcare, in other industries that are privacy sensitive, that are sensitive to ownership of code data, etc. So we took the opportunity to also take this into account, and actually the technology is secondary, but I think as a small organization we would think in a way that the technology would also serve us best in the short term. That also played a part, and I think it's on the way. Ruth is also very involved. Mike at Drop Solid is very involved in redesigning the site. Also, I believe Simran from Accelerant is also getting involved. So it's a really a collaborative effort, and we hope that when we launch the site, that we will be able to cater like all our target audiences better. Which will
Go ahead.
Which will also be possible because we are building a small open DXP, by the way, with Mautic and the website. So we will be able to communicate personalized to all these different audiences. We have the tools, so why not use them?
Perfect. There is one question from the audience, and it's perfectly tying in here. I have to say something, Ekke.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to tie in to what Dominque just said and take it to a different level, though, because I do think that it's a really important project. But if we look at it at a procedural from a procedural angle, what happened here? Somebody identified a need or had an idea and proposed something that coincidentally came from somebody who was also in the council, but it doesn't have to be that way. Every member or everybody can propose things, obviously. And then proposal is also twofold. We have the proposals for Mautic and the proposals for the General Assembly, so don't mix those up. And then in some cases, it is onto the council to look at those proposals and see if we act on it, if we allocate budgets, if we maybe initiate a working group or something. So if we have an idea of our own, which we think is strategically important, we can always do that, of course, ourselves. But if some idea is presented to us from the outside, which is not so outside in this case, then that's totally fine, and we are happy about all of these thoughts that come in. And they can also be more interactive, like, hey, I would like to discuss the situation of the website. Maybe are you folks in the council already doing something about it, or does it make sense to do that before you write up an entire proposal? So different ways. In the end, we really want you to be involved, and we are just there to serve these ideas. That's my point.
Thank you for the addition. So this is an audience question, which is tying in here, and I don't know who wants to answer this one. Has research, I can put it on the stage, so cool. Has research been done in the past into who the Mautic users are? This is very useful information to help Mautic to grow. So this is a super question, and we do have sometimes in-person events. We have sprints. We have also in-person conference, and I know that the marketing team has been trying to address this. And Dominque, you kind of touched this already. Certainly, you would see here just a slice of the users, those who end up in the free trials. But can you shed a light on what your opinion is, because you drop solid as well, see another slice of the Mautic users. So what could you answer this one? And if someone else wants to give more information or have another answer, please let me know.
Yeah, like I said, like the user base of Mautic is very broad. It kind of looks a bit like a pyramid where you have a lot of small users, and then the more you go up and the bigger the organizations get, the fewer, which is also logical because there are also fewer larger organizations, and they all have different reasons also to use Mautic. Like at the lowest level, it would be a cost driver. Of course, if you're just a one-man business, you can just download Mautic, put it on a shared hosting, and it would allow you to start sending small campaigns and do a lot of automation. If you are very top and you're a large enterprise, but you don't want to buy into locked-in enterprise software, they also could choose Mautic because they want a sovereign solution and they want to be able to fully own it, customize it, etc. And then there's everything in between. If you look geographically, you would say that it's that you would say like about 15% is US, another 15% is EU, a lot of India and Brazil, I think also both like 10-15%. And then the rest of the world. So that would be like the biggest territories. And then, I think there's a huge potential for Mautic in small and medium businesses and small and medium enterprises. And if you market it correctly to these businesses, then the ecosystem will also profit, like the ecosystem of agencies and the ecosystem of products that are built on top of it, and also hosting platform solutions. Like, for example, we have at Drop Solid will also benefit from this, and this could generate like a flywheel that could accelerate the entire community. Because like your large enterprise and your small user, I think they will come anyway. But in the middle, you really need to make it clear, like, why is Mautic a good solution for them? And it has to be yeah, it has to be a combination between a financial good proposition and a great product proposition that covers all their needs.
Thanks, Dominik. Ekke, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, real quick, because I did talk about this point of the research to Sven Döring of the marketing team recently, and that's one of the things that the marketing team has on the list to dive deeper into. And one thing, if you're interested, Richard, I think they're happy if they get some support there from people not only knowledgeable but also able to spend some hours. The other thing is, this is a good example of the structure that we have, that for things like that, we have the teams that actually care about things, and the council basically should know the high-level results or the high-level strategies and maybe make some decisions, but we are not the ones who are actually conducting the research. Again, structural, procedural thing. It's pretty hard from the outside to really understand what is the difference between all those things that we have, isn't it?
Thank you. I have here another question regarding release schedules, and there has been a lot of talk about the release schedule. Why is it so hard to manage? So there's two conversations usually. The one is like keeping the release schedule really on time, and the other one is please contribute. So I think this question is for Jan. So what do you think? What's the biggest challenge in keeping the release schedules shorter or on time? Or, and I believe you will just repeat yourself from previous panels, but what do you think it would take to have more dynamic approach to this?
Right. So thank you for the question, and I think that there is a session for that by Matthias from Dropsolid later today. So if you want to dive deep, definitely join that session. And the short summary would be, so all this community has to do a lot with a very small team. So please, if you want to help, join us, be active. So there is an issue with finding release leaders, meaning people who can technically do that. We have a run book of steps that need to be done for the release. So if you want to shadow some release leader and one day also be a release leader yourself, join us in the T-Product channel and get involved. And the other thing is, and we have the same problem in Acquia, whether you want to keep the scope of the release or if you want to keep the time of the release, and those two rarely match. So if you want to release really what you want, it can take more time. Or if you want to keep the time, you might have to skip some pull requests to merge. So that's what we are always deciding with the release, and usually when it's late, we are deciding, hey, we want to get this in and this in because it's pretty serious. So definitely, I encourage everyone join us with these efforts and help us keep the time and scope as well.
Thank you. There's one more very simple question here, and I don't know how you can answer this, Jan. So the question is, will Mautic be easier to be maintained and updated in the future? So will it be more like WordPress in the future, or it will be harder to host?
Right. So that is exactly the question I was trying to solve with my talk yesterday, because there are so many threads of questions. How should I deploy Mautic? How should I host it? How should I upgrade? And that's why I created this automatic deployment process. And
so that's your talk yesterday, how to host
yes.
in Docker, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So anyone who is watching this and curious, go back to the replay and watch it.
Yeah, take a look. And I wanted to make it as simple as possible, but again, it's not, and it will get worse and worse because we want to also target enterprise with Mautic. So we want to we need to basically make it scalable and performant, and that requires more technologies, not less. So WordPress is very simple because it doesn't need cron jobs, right? So setting up cron jobs is pretty much unknown for WordPress users. Other than that, it's just PHP MySQL application. But if you want to scale up and have millions of contacts and serve them well, you need queues, because otherwise, when you send an email, then all the clicks will basically DDoS your server.
Right.
So yeah, if you want to do it in bigger for bigger audiences, then it will get worse and worse to host Mautic, and that's why trials are here, right? Use them.
Right. I have another question here. Oh, thank you, Jan. I have another question for Favour, and that's regarding the education stuff. And that is, how do you feel about redoing all the screenshots as the UI is changing for the education team? And if you need help with that, how can people join?
Yeah, so we've been doing that, especially when it comes to the user documentation. But I think for the Mautic 5, we also updated some of the screenshots, and one of our biggest challenges is getting contributors to contribute, help with those screenshots. And the easiest way to contribute, we have the T Education channel that you can indicate interest, and also we'll be sharing a weekly reminders for contributors, for those that are interested to contribute, every Thursday. So every Thursday, you can just make out maybe 1 hour of your time to help us update our documentation. That would be very helpful. Anyone that is interested can just also shoot me a DM, and then I can schedule a call. We could go through the process, and if you need any help.
Okay, thanks. So is this happening online, or this Thursday is just the day when you pay especially attention?
No, it's online. I'm just saying, for those that are interested that don't really have time, you can contribute any day,
Okay.
but yeah, you can contribute any day, but we're just saying for those that don't really have time, maybe just on Thursday you have just schedule 1 hour of your time to contribute. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Cool. Next question. I don't know who wants to take this one. I think it's for Ruth. I will just summarize it. How is Mautic doing financially? I don't know how you can answer that just in a couple of words, or where to find information. And then I will also ask this, how is transparency ensured?
So how are we doing financially? So yeah, over the last year, I'm going to speak to this a bit more in the keynote, but last year I think we raised $62,000. So if you exclude the seed funding from Acquia, so we went from 30,000 to 62. We doubled in a year with the new membership model and everything. This year we're already at 71, I think, but that's quite a long way away from our goal. It is a real challenge for us creating ways to bring funding into the project. So I'm not going to kind of give away all of the exciting things we've got coming up, but there are some new initiatives coming up. But yeah, at the moment we're quite a bit behind, but we're working on ways that we can catch up with that for funding. So, and transparency wise, so we have the General Assembly this afternoon, and one of those motions is to actually adopt things like a report of the financials for the last year, the budget that we've got for the coming year. All of that is shared there for the members to review and to adopt. And Open Collective is, of course, completely open and transparent. So you can see all the money coming in and going out, and everything we spend our money on is documented there. Likewise, our council meeting, we have our meeting notes from the meeting are actually available and visible on the council assembly on the portal. So you can always go and see what we're working on. And obviously, if there's anything confidential, we would redact that. But generally, everything that we talk about is in our minutes.
Okay. Can you, once we're talking about transparency, can you address two more things? The one is inclusivity and the other one is fair pay, because I know you're advocate of both.
Yes, I can talk about those. So maybe not the best person to talk about fair pay, given I'm paid by Mautic. Maybe someone else can pick that one up, because there's also a motion that
About
Dominic's
overviewing
proposed.
the contract, right?
Yeah,
right.
Dominic can probably talk to that
because
is that. But yeah, do you want to hand that over to Dominic? Are you all right to speak on that, or Ekke?
It's about, in general, about contracts. If you work with Mautic, then what kind of fair pay is considered, and why is it like that?
Okay, I can take that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dominique.
Go ahead, Ekke.
Okay, that's actually under review at this point. So in the past, we said we always said we want to do ethically the right thing, but also be successful, right? In the past, we came up with a setup where we just said, okay, this is our fixed rate. Wherever you are, whoever you are in the world, everybody's paid equally. We are actively discussing that right now. I think we even have a proposal on that, to adjust it, to say, okay, not every task is the same, and actually not the cost of living is not the same everywhere in the world, but still we want to be really ethically do the right thing. So I don't have the answers here, but we are very conscious of that, but on the same side, at the same time, we need to be conscious of or responsible with the money of our members, and want to make sure we get a job done and get it done with quality. So it's a really tough nut, but it is a topic.
Thanks. Do you want to add something, Dominic?
Yes, maybe like with our memberships, we localize them. So that would mean that if you're in a low income country, you would pay less. If you're high income, you would pay more. You think, okay, that's okay. But on the expense side, we say like everyone should be paid top level. So there was this balance, which kind of makes Mautic, a less sustainable project.
It hurts Mautic, right.
It hurts us because we cannot. If we would be competing against other projects, would like optimize also the costs, making use of the global system. It wouldn't make sense. So we are looking into that, like how can we do that, like Ekke explained, like in an ethical way, that we can still like pay everyone in their region like a good salary. But I don't think we have to like do it across the globe, top standard for everywhere, and then on our revenue sides have it localized. That didn't make sense.
Thank you. Ruth, you want to mention something else?
Yeah, I think we're actively discussing this. Like, how do we actually make it fair? Do we say that you're paid based on your level of seniority and based on what you're actually doing, the technical skills required and the professional experience required? Do we factor in things like where you live and your local economy, maybe use the Big Mac index or something? So we're kind of actively exploring what's going to be the best way for Mautic. and what's also the most fair way for someone who is doing a job for Mautic, and they just happen to be located in a different country, So it's an active discussion and something that we're considering as a council. What's the best way for us to go forwards?
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, since for 1,000 years, no one could solve this issue, with fair taxation and stuff. So I'm happy that we can address this. I have another question from what I can show on stage. And I think this is for John. Wait for it. First, I'd like to give big thanks for the Mautic 5.1 release, going from 4 to 5 and then to 5.1 so quickly with a lot of UI fixes was great. What were the biggest pain points with those releases? PHP deprecation, third-party plugin integration.
Right, good question. So it's those two releases, 5.0 and 2.1, were enormous, with tens and even hundreds of changes merged. And the fact that it has been done is thanks to a community that's around us, the active community. Because one person or even one company cannot merge a pull request. We have to cross-test. We have to ensure that it fits the Mautic product, that it's not just some random feature that only one person needs. The biggest issue is actually not technical, it's testing. So we have still hundreds, I think close to 200, 300 open pull requests that need some testing. And there are really hidden gems in there. So if you can, just read through them, and I think you will be excited what's coming, and help us test them. That's the only blocker we have. And it blocks pretty much everything else.
Thanks. I hope that answered the question. Very important. So we're going to have a general assembly later today. In my zone, time zone, it's 3 o'clock. So I think that's UTC 1, maybe. Ruth, right? Yes. If you're not a member, you can be still a member. So just go to mau.tc/membership, I think.
Or just community.mautic.org.
Oh, okay, thank you. Community.mautic.org, and you can still become a member and participate in the process. Let's see if we have more questions here. Nope. Okay, let's see. So there is one more question here which was sent to me, and this is, what processes has the community right now to propose new features projects, and is the council evaluating that, or the team leaders? So if I have an idea, for example, I would love to make the sending emails more complicated, because it's not complicated anymore. Then who do I propose this to? Like, what's the best way to do this? I don't know who wants to take this. You're mute, Dominque, but I'm happy you're taking this.
Sorry, Joey, can you repeat the question?
So the question is that if someone would like to propose a new feature because they have a great idea, but they just say, let's say in the forums, I have this great idea, but I'm not a coder. I'm happy to test. I've seen this a lot. So and it's really great idea they have, who they should go to. Is this the council they're writing to, or who they should approach, and how it will be evaluated?
I don't think that's on the level of the council requesting new features. The council is more on how the project is governed that you would propose questions. So here I think you would better approach the product team. It's the job of the product team to prioritize feature requests and put them on the roadmap. also the job of the product team to make sure that new contributors can be onboarded, whether they're coders or they're testers. So yeah, that implies that people are still not finding their way. So yeah, that's definitely something to look at then. Why that's not possible and how the process could improve on that level.
Okay.
Ruth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the official process is still to propose new features in the respective forum channel. It's called Features and Ideas or something like that. That's where people can vote for things, and that's also reviewed by the product team. But in all fairness, I think the best way to get something done is to do it yourself, or to find someone that you can give some money and do it for you, because that's how open source works best. It's not like there's a product team that is unpaid, but is doing whatever you want. So, I mean, if it's a real cool feature, there's a good chance that it will be adopted by the product team or by some third party. But the best way is to organize things for yourself and contribute it to Mautic. There are multiple issues in that. One thing, as you already said, I don't even know how to give who to give some money. The other thing is, okay, now somebody's doing it, but how can it become part of the product if it's not a natural third-party plugin? So there, the product team can certainly help you. At least point you to some other people that you may talk to or stuff like that. And then I'd like to plug a talk that I gave yesterday, just a lightning talk about crowdfunding, or rather reverse crowdfunding. We do have some crowdfunding places in Mautic, but they're well hidden and I don't think they're very active. And we recently introduced a different flavor of crowdfunding, where somebody who has an idea actually pre-funds, maybe jointly with us, things and keep them private as long as the actual crowdfunding that will then start is not completed, and only if the crowdfunding is completed, then it is committed to open source. So if you want to see that in what's that, replay, you can still find this 5-minute talk from yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you. In the meanwhile, John posted a link. If you want to help with pull requests, I suggest you just bookmark that link and check it from time to time. And I don't know until what time we have time. There is one more question here. I copied it here, so it's actually not from me, but I will show it on the stage. Can you share any challenges the council has faced since the implementation of the new governance model, and how they were addressed? Any challenges you had, or you thought, I didn't sign up for this, or anything like that? Or you see in the road laying ahead?
Okay, how much time do we have?
Can you make it in 5 minutes, Ekke? Otherwise, there is a podcast called the Mautic Cast, I think, and maybe you can, make an episode.
There. Challenges. No, maybe somebody else wants to take it. It's not me talking all the time.
Please, Dominque, then go ahead. Thank you.
But I think that the biggest challenge is that, and I don't say it's totally unexpected, is that the Mautic Council members have to be really hands-on and actually also do stuff apart from just advising, which might be a bit untypical in advisory boards, which give advice. But since we're such a small community still, I believe that. Also believe that, and I also try to act on it as well, to be more executive, like actually do stuff. I think if we do that on every level, like just Ekke explained on the product level as well, if everybody actually does stuff, of course we can talk about it, it's also important, but the doing is even more important. And that's sometimes challenges because we also have other jobs. But yeah, it seems to go in the right direction. We see how our funding is going up and project is expanding. We're doing releases. Adoption is expanding. So the doing works.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay, I can't be
Thank you
silent.
so much. Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't call it a challenge, but I in retrospect, I think it was a pretty fascinating thing to do this new body called the council, which was really uncharted territory for all of us here, for Mautic in general. So finding ourselves, first of all, who gets elected or who gets nominated and all that. And then what is really the role? How can it be made tangible, and how can we organize ourselves, etc. That's been a pretty steep curve. In the beginning, we were really just all about our processes, and then pretty quickly we had a huge agenda that we walked through twice a quarter, and then do some async work in the meantime. So getting that organized wasn't a challenge, but it was a task for sure. And then, of course, everything else is in the material itself and the challenges that Mautic faces and overcoming those. But in the end, it's not a challenging thing. It's just really important work.
Thank you. And yeah, so from really in the name of community, thank you so much for your hard work. And it's actually very transparent if you go into the community. What's the name? Thank you. Yeah, so you can actually see all the hard work you do. You can see the proposals, and we will see the real fruits this afternoon in the General Assembly. Again, if you're not a member yet, please become a member so you can also vote. I think this is ending our session. If there are no more questions, just if you stay with us, there's 3 rooms. There's an international track and 2 other rooms. We will have a session about the Go Summer of Code experiences. This is a project which is around the Mautic marketplace and also end-to-end testing suite, somewhat technical, but very interesting insights in the marketplace, which everyone is using. Also, super handy troubleshooting guide from Toby. I have seen the slides. It's really cool. It covers 95% of your problems. So please attend it and it makes sense for you to save the link in the future, save the link of the replay. And then you can also watch the amazing CDP Gesteuerte Marketing Automatisierung with Sven Döring if you are into that. So see you in the next session, and thank you for joining us today, and thank you for the council members also for joining. See you guys. Bye.